Welcome to the Bold Analysis, live from county number 041. This is Siaya County. I'm doing this video in one of the places that I like most. I know most of you miss this place called home. Yeah, so I normally try to get time at least come back. There is something that has really attracted my attention, and I want us to pay a lot of attention to this. Mount Kenya is facing some criticism, and I want to say it is one of the regions that is most insensitive and in terms of the young politicians. And I think I'll face the facts on this one. Do you know that Gideon Moi was William Ruto's strongest critic, or rather strongest opponent towards the last year's general election? And for those of us who followed the Azimio activities, I remember very well that Gideon Moi was the man that was dispatched to manmark Kalonzo Musyoka. Even the day that Raila Odinga was announcing Martha Karua as the running mate, Gideon Moi was with Kalonzo Musyoka in Karen just to try to beg him not to leave the Azimio fold and support Raila Odinga. And you cannot doubt the fact that Gideon Moi did not defend the candidature of William Samoei Ruto, despite the fact that they come from the same region. But believe me you, immediately after William Ruto got power, he has given a contract to Gideon Moi on some geothermal contract. And so, if you pay clean attention, very close attention, you will realize that the president has brought close in his circle those from the region, and he doesn't have even a single opponent from the larger Rift Valley. What am I talking about? The other opponent who was trying but did not really make, he only had two opponents. That was Lonyangapuo, who was given some parastatal job, and Isaac Ruto, the former Bomet governor, was also appointed to be a commissioner in JSC. So what I am saying is this, and that is why I'm saying Mount Kenya is a bit insensitive. The president and the man they purport to support, and they support him fully, is supporting his own people and is not having any battle. But Kimani Ichun'gwa, Ndindi Nyoro, Rigathi Gachagua, and other young upcoming politicians from the mountain, Kanini Kega and Sabina Chege, have all been equipped to attack one of their own, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And you wonder really, how are these people not seeing that picture? And I want to agree with the majority of those Kenyans that say that I think there are some leaders that are being used as tissue paper. And it is for the selfish gain. Do you want to tell me that President William Ruto is a president of the mountain? And if Uhuru Kenyatta is a threat to President William Ruto, why is Western not talking? Why is the coast not talking? Why is Nyanza not talking? Why is it that it's only some 4 gentlemen from the larger mountain that is feeling Uhuru Kenyatta is threatened? It looks selfish. In this podcast, I want to explain to you in details why William Ruto opted to reconcile with Gideon Moi. If Gideon Moi was still with the Azimio fold, yesterday you would have seen Gideon Moi in that Jubilee NDC. And you know, when that Jubilee NDC was, immediately it was held, one of my attention was on the absence of Gideon Moi, because he could also be there in his capacity as the chairperson or the leader of the Jubilee of the KANU party. Remember what happened in KANU? There was some attempted coup And then Nick Salat was taken off, crossed over to UDA. I think he's yet to be given some job if I'm not wrong. And after he was taken over to the UDA, there was a staged fight between him and the KANU party leader, Gideon Moi. But in the middle of all that, Gideon Moi was given a deal. And William Ruto is very schemy. The leaders are not just seeing the bigger picture. And I want to make this clear from this beautiful county of Siaya, that it is about time that people understand that politics is not about now. Politics is also about what's coming in the future. Those who are being used, and I'm so intentional in using the word used, should actually understand that this country did not start yesterday. We've been here. And this country, our ancestors were here and they left. And even after Uhuru Kenyatta, there was William Ruto. And even after William Ruto, there will be another president. So, and again, it's only Uhuru Kenyatta, it's not Uhuru Kenyatta who's going to become the first former president. And he was not that, he's going to be the last. So we have a precedence as a country. William Ruto realized that Gideon Moi had a stake in the media factor. And in this country, you can rule, but one way or the other, you need media. And you know, I know some of you normally normally ask questions, why? How did it really happen that the media, the general mood about the media was that they converged around Azimio la Umoja? Partly you can attribute that to some of the personal relationships between the Azimio leadership, Azimio leader Raila Odinga, and the media owners. If you look at leaders in Azimio, Gideon Moi was supporting Uhuru Kenyatta, and Gideon Moi had a stake in the Standard. You have CSK Macharia, who is supporting Raila Odinga and is the chairman and the owner of Citizen. And then you have Uhuru Kenyatta, who was behind MediaMax and partly around also Nation, also be having an in around Nation. You also have a situation where some of these people are also having a lot of stakes in the telecommunications, like Safaricom. So you will realize that Ruto knows that in the last general election, while they can come publicly, and the UDA knows that while they can come publicly to bash the media, but partly the convergence against them was because they didn't have a stake. And so I know those who are advisors of the Sugoi born president knows very well that one way or the other, there is no way you can fight all of them. And one of the reasons why he went after Gideon Moi, if you ask me, is to get some media smothering. I want to tell you some moshene. In the last year, there's a story that was done by I think it was done by the Standard. It was about SGR. So they first did that story, and it was about the Mombasa deal and how the SGR was a raw deal. And it brought a lot of discussion until immediately it released Waziri Kipchumba Murkomen even decided to leak some document about some, if you remember the story, about this SGR document. It came from the Standard. Then from that point, it was a bit of a provocative that while you can hit on this side, there is also a rod that Gideon Moi is holding. Number two, there is the Moi dynasty factor. You know, at campaign trail, it is emotional manipulation. The dynasty narrative is just an emotional manipulation, and to create some cluster difference that there is a class of us versus them. But that is on the political ground. But again, in reality, the Moi family is a very big factor. And you know, I was, when I was just coming home, I was just talking to a gentleman, and he's a gentleman from Baringo. And I was asking him, and I just asked him the question about, uh, we unaonaje the way Mount Kenya are being used to hit Uhuru Kenyatta? How about Bwana Uhuru, Bwana Ruto asipige Gideon? I asked him, actually just asked him casually that question that way. And interestingly, he told me, you know, here, Wazes really have a say. And there is that culture, you must, as a young person, you must protect Wazee. So if Gideon Moi will go to the grassroots and come out, even though, not that Moi really did a lot for them, but a picture coming out that a son of the soil who has also been brought, maybe has also come to the limelight, is not going after the first family, it will not be. Can I tell you? And that gentleman told me an example. In the Rongai by-election in Nakuru, the only person that campaigned there was Rigathi Gachagua. William Ruto never went to campaign. Reason being, he did not want that direct confrontation with Raymond Moi, who was Gideon Moi's brother. But remember Rigathi going there and saying that they've finished with Gideon, they're going to pick another one. But William Ruto never stepped in that place. So that is one of the reasons why he has also decided that you cannot also push that. The other factor is, let me tell you, you know, there is something that is true here. Uhuru Kenyatta, you can take away everything from William Ruto, but you cannot take away the fact that William Ruto is a man who looks back and say, okay, this will be it. What am I saying? The Mount Kenya leaders, I am normally disappointed by a number of them, especially these ones that have been in government for the last 10 years. In 2013, the architecture of our politics is that the person, when someone from that enjoys that majority, for example, William Ruto, there are those who got chance to get to parliament because they benefited from Uhuru Kenyatta euphoria. That one is in 2013. And there are a lot of political careers that were launched in 2013 under Uhuru Kenyatta euphoria. Then you will even wonder, for example, remember the gentleman from Meru who was even handed over a car, first car by Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, in the last general election, he was really calling Uhuru all sorts of them. And I'm like, you know, who does that? So, what am I saying? The point I'm driving at is this. William Ruto is also appreciating the fact that under YK92, he launched his political career under President Moi. So, as a man, you can also be cast that, okay, what good can you do for someone? And this is something that these juvenile politicians cannot see. Uhuru may be bad in their eyes in terms of what Uhuru did. But if Uhuru did something wrong, then whatever wrong that was done did not only affect Mount Kenya. It must have affected the whole country because Uhuru Kenyatta was a president for the whole country. So they cannot start hitting Uhuru Kenyatta on behalf of the nation. It's selfish and very personal. And so, they cannot see that Ruto is not going after Gideon Moi because he launched his politics under Moi's father. The same to the politicians from the mountain. There are quite a number that launched their political careers under Uhuru Kenyatta's euphoria. Challenge me on this. The other bit that I also see here is, I think the plan was to scuttle Azimio's financial muscles. Because as a man who has a bit of intelligence, you cannot underscore the fact that Kenyatta Moi family is a family with good resources, and they can be wheel dealers behind politics. So to some extent, in terms of even what was, even if there was a resource mobilization that was done, there is a stake that the Moi family decided to put in it. The truth of the matter here is Raila Odinga and Martha Karua got a lot of backing, not from even the international support. It actually that ticket was funded domestically here. It was funded by the people here, the Mount Kenya Foundation billionaires, the Uhuru Kenyatta family, and partly the other friends, and even the public. Yes, I say that I know members of this channel, my good friends, who sent their 500,000, their 200,000, and I even know 2 people who sent some 2 million. Yes, who are abroad and they've never met Raila. They don't know about Raila, but they sent money and they tell you, Kevin, I also support Baba, but I've never met Baba. So that is also the truth that is going on here. There's a plan to scuttle, and the other bit is, I think Ruto has always wanted to isolate President William Ruto. And that is why you can see President William Ruto Uhuru Kenyatta Ruto always wanted to isolate Uhuru, because look at Tuoli, you know, Tuoli was lightly snatched, maybe some small coercion, hapa na pale. There are those who are around Uhuru Kenyatta, even some State House workers that were also absorbed back. You can look at those who were in government and they had worked with Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, they were kicked out because they supported Uhuru Kenyatta. So what do you think will be out? So that is also a bit of the plan in it. And I think lastly, there was a plan to infiltrate the dynasty circle. You could not leave it, to integrate it. You could not leave the 3 gentlemen to hold together, Raila, Moi, and Uhuru Kenyatta. That would be a threat, because looking at quite a number of interests, they have stake in agriculture, they have stake in media, they have stake in financing, they have stake in energy. Like Raila Odinga is a big player in matters energy. So that's a bit of it. But I think my point is still clear. We need to be very sensitive to the fact that really something is not adding up. Thank you guys. I'm still shooting at home. So yes, huko kuna kawa na shida ya bundles. So if you can also support me, bit of some bundles kidogo kidogo, I'll be grateful. And I'm sharing my number here. May God bless you where you are.